Before we dive into today's episode, I want to take a moment to remind you that every woman's journey is unique, especially when it comes to health, fitness, and navigating the transitions of perimenopause. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay. It's so important to seek guidance from a trusted medical professional who understands your individual needs. As coaches, we're here to educate, support, and empower you along the way, but that doesn't replace the vital role of your doctor or healthcare provider. So as you listen to today's conversation, I encourage you to take what resonates, consult with your medical team, and trust yourself as you make decisions for your own well-being. Welcome to Your Wise Self with Sarah, the podcast that invites you to embark on a journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. Thank you for joining me, Sarah, as I explore the profound wisdom within each of us, waiting to be uncovered and embraced. I'm so pleased to have my dear friend Traci Herridge here with me today. She is currently a physical education teacher here in Central Iowa. Traci brings over 30 years of coaching experience in female sports, including track and field, volleyball, softball, and cross country. Now in her 27th year of teaching, she was honored as Iowa Health Teacher of the Year in 2009. And the same year, she achieved National Board Certification in Secondary Physical Education. Traci's journey into education was sparked by her passion for running and fitness. As a collegiate track athlete specializing in hurdles, she transitioned to road running after college, participating in races ranging from 5Ks and 10Ks to half and full marathons, and then into triathlons. Among her proudest accomplishments was placing the top 10 of the Quad Cities Marathon, a performance that qualified her for the Boston Marathon. She's also completed her first full 70.3 Ironman as a testament to her commitment to competitive endurance sports. Driven by a competitive spirit and a desire for continual growth, Traci earned personal training and USA Sports Performance certifications, allowing her to lead group strength classes in rural Central Iowa. Eventually, she transformed these workouts into a virtual membership program, helping women nationwide achieve their fitness goals. At age 46, Traci began to experience the onset of perimenopausal symptoms. Initially unrecognized, she was prompted to dive into research to understand and address these changes. When she encountered the phrase perimenopause is puberty in reverse, she was struck by its implications, especially as she had not experienced her first period until she was the age of 20. After navigating her own path through perimenopause, she became a certified stress and hormone specialist committed to helping women identify and manage hormone imbalances. Her goal is to support others in reclaiming their vitality and well-being, empowering them on their unique journeys to help them feel like themselves again. Welcome, Traci.
After listening to all those things, I'm thinking, no wonder I'm so tired. When you're in that space, going after things, raising kids, working full-time, plus the extra hours of coaching, it's no wonder that I ended up into this perimenopausal abyss. Because as I learned, we'll talk about later, is I was doing everything wrong and exhausting myself driven by all my goals and stuff. So I'm glad I accomplished all that stuff, but I look back and wonder, how did I do that? How did I survive?
Isn't it amazing? We're inspired and motivated, and then we reflect back and it's like, wow, how do we do all that at that point in time in our life? But that's why I have you here today, is because you are such an inspiration to me and so many women, and you just continue to grow and learn and help us navigate through this space. Like you said, you were parenting and training and working, and you're doing all these things, and it just is really inspiring to so many people. So I'm just really excited to dive in to learn more about your experience and expertise and how we can benefit other women through their journeys as well. So tell us a little bit more about where this journey has brought you from then to today.
Running has saved my life, not just because physically, but mentally. Going through college, I noticed I started having anxiety and panic attacks, probably because of my type A personality, number one. Number two, I didn't know it was hereditary. I didn't know that I had some family members that suffered from that too until I came home breaking down about it. Then number three, I think I realized it wasn't just for my competitive nature, but also for my mental health, gave me my space to think and breathe. And so that's kind of where my whole idea of, for busy women, whether you're a mom or not, that probably more like type A personality people, like you got to make time for yourself for not just your physical health, but your mental health. And I know we can easily make excuses for why we're too busy. And it all comes down to your priorities. And a lot of women, once they have kids and start their job, they drop themselves as a priority and take care of everything else, but without recognizing the fact that without you taking care of you, you're not going to be at your best self to take care of your kids, your family, your job, everything else. So that's kind of where I want my daughter to recognize, like, I don't want her to get sucked into that mentality of everything comes second. It's like, you have to put yourself first. Your mom guilt, no matter what you do. If I don't take care of myself, I feel guilty. If I go take care of myself, I feel guilty because I could have picked the kids up from daycare 30, 45 minutes earlier. I just made space for myself. Like, I need to go do this run or walk or lift or whatever it may be, because it'll give me more energy. It's putting money in the bank. You know, it's an investment in your health.
I think that that's what draws us to each other, is that I've always had that belief too from early on. And, you know, when I became a mom and I was neglecting myself in the beginning, and I realized so quickly that I needed to take care of myself. Otherwise, everyone else paid around me. Yeah.
If mama ain't happy, nobody happy.
That's right. But yeah, it really sounds like your mission is to educate women, inspire women, have them learn about self-care, ways that they can prioritize themselves. And then also, I think the education component is we'll get into a little bit more about our age group and hormones. And right before we were starting today, we were talking about, gosh, there's so much information out there. I mean, from fitness to vitamins to nutrition to hormones. So maybe help simplify, like if somebody's just getting started right now, it's kind of the end of the year right now. So people might be starting to think about intentions for the new year. Where do people start in this journey?
I teach a lot about habit stacking, and habit stacking is just slowly incorporating daily simple things you can do. And it's so simple that it's hard. All the habits that I teach now, I mean, it seems really obvious. Like, why would somebody have me come in and teach a workshop, you know, how important it is to sleep? Like, we know that. But until you sit down and read the research and do you recognize the fact of how important it is, one decision at a time, just one decision. Is grabbing this donut and Mountain Dew on the way to work the best decision at that time? No. What can I do at that time to make a better choice? Is being on my cell phone before bed the best choice for me right now? Or should I shut it off, get a book out, read for 30 minutes and go to bed a half hour earlier? One choice at a time. Do I take this apple with me that's sitting there on the counter, even though, you know, it's maybe not my favorite? I'd rather have a caramel roll or something. It's just one choice at a time. Don't overthink it. And exercise. Do you move 30 minutes a day? If you haven't been moving at all, start walking 30 minutes a day. So just those small daily steps. It's not like all of a sudden you have to jump in and all of a sudden set up like your strength training schedule, your run schedule, you know, all these high quality meal prep things. Keep it simple.
Yeah, it sounds like just from those first 2 points in my training, it's called mindfulness. I'm making those little decisions throughout the day. And in fact, I was just training high school students on this because I asked them, I said, how many times a day do you pick up your phone? And they're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even give you a number. And so it starts with just picking up the phone and saying, do I really need to pick up my phone right now? And putting it back down. If the answer is really no, those little micro habits begin. And then I love that term you used of habit stacking. And then, you know, you just start building on those and you keep kind of practicing those one decision at a time. And then with exercise, 30 minutes a day, is it still the same to do 3 10-minute walks or 2 15-minute walks? Can people break it down further?
They can totally do that. If you can do 10 minutes in the morning, for instance, today was kind of like a lower key morning for me. So I got out and walked the dogs. I only made it 0.37 miles with them, which isn't even a half a mile, but it was 10 minutes of walking out to the corner and back. I'll have another snip during the day over my lunch. Instead of sitting for 30 minutes, I'm going to go get some sunlight because, you know, we talk about the circadian rhythm and how that is really important to people for stress and for sleep because we're not getting that sunlight in the morning. You know, we're in the office under false, like horrible lighting I'm under right now, and making time to do that. So yes, for sure, you can split up your time working out.
And I think that that helps people understand that you don't have to have these huge chunks of time. You kind of fit it into your day throughout the day. So a couple of things that you've started to touch on is one was nutrition and how people might get started with just some healthier habits.
If you can identify where the food came from, then it's a healthier choice. If you can keep it simple, a lot of people may not realize it, but you're supposed to, when you go shopping at the grocery store, do you spend more of the time around the perimeter of the grocery store or in the middle? Because in the middle of the grocery stores is set up as where all mostly the processed foods at. But if you're shopping more around the perimeter of the grocery store, then that's where you're getting more of your natural foods. I know the cost of healthy food is more, and that shouldn't be that way, but for some reason it is. But if you can be mindful of when you start meal prepping, you can really save money by bulk prep. Mm-hmm. So it's buying chicken breasts that you prep for the entire week instead of one at a time. So it's just slowly learning little hacks like that and how you can save money.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've learned from you, and just anytime I'm at your house, you're so good about, like, we got to have the color of the rainbow out, all the different veggies and the different fruits and different options.
When you go grocery shopping, when you bring that healthy food home, cut it up. Don't put it in the fridge without prepping, like without rinsing, cutting, storing. So that way it's easier, because it's not that I'm lazy. It's just that you're busy. And so you just need something to grab quickly. So preparing your vegetables, all that stuff, and fruit in easy to grab containers is awesome. If it's going to take me more than 45 minutes to meal prep, I'm not doing it. I'm too busy out riding my bike with Sarah.
Yes.
Some people do meal prep for a couple hours. I'm not going to do that. I would rather have simple meal prep. I will prep like all my meat. I don't know what I'm going to make. Maybe I have an idea, but I will just make all this chicken, all this beef, prep it all. And then as the week goes on, it's having that protein ready to roll. It cuts your mealtime in half, being able to roll it out. So prep your protein ahead of time and cut up your produce. And that's simple. And have a fruit bowl out.
I think that those are all super helpful tips. First of all, you're saying, prepping all those things because then you have it ready to go. There's no questions asked in terms of what's for dinner tonight because you have these things prepped and ready to go.
It's just a habit. I started doing a little bit at a time, and then it grew into like, oh, well, why am I making 1 pound of hamburger when I can make 3 and prepare it ahead of time? I'm doing it. Just do it all at that time. It really is a big helper.
And I think there's also programs out there. At least I know here in my community, we have a couple of people that have started a business that they're making healthy meals to go that are fresh, and ones like that in Des Moines. Are there any other around?
I do know of the big one in Des Moines, and I haven't tried it. I keep seeing it on Instagram, and I keep thinking I need to try it.
Yeah, I know for me, I get those and then I have them for lunch typically. And then it's been nice because I have them around also for my hungry now 17-year-old. I oftentimes joke because I bring food with me everywhere. So if anybody knows me at all, they know that I probably have something with me, because for me, then it automatically gives me my healthy option. Then that way I know I have my cucumbers and my hummus or whatever it is, with me that I will always be able to lean on. So like you said too, this is something that took time, and it was a process over time. What's the next best step? Making those one decisions at a time that you mentioned that stack these habits to make it a regular thing.
I work at a school, so how many times do you think that they come on like donuts in the teacher's lounge? It's somebody's birthday. And you know what I do? 95% of the time is I don't go there. I avoid it because I do love sugar. And the last thing I need is a big piece of cake over lunch or donuts in the morning. Or I'm an 80-20 girl. I'm not the trainer that's going to tell you can't have a glass of wine in moderation. Everything is in moderation. If you're trying to be perfect, you're not going to enjoy your life.
Yeah. You're going to set yourself up for failure if you try to be perfect, because nobody's perfect, right? Yeah. Let's start talking a little bit about hormones and what you've learned. You had the big 5-0 this year.
The fermented 50s.
The fermented 50s. Tell us about that.
I am doing a workshop tomorrow, and I was thinking about telling my story to them. I'm like, when did the shit show begin? And I started thinking, I'm like, okay, still coaching cross country. I think Skylar was a sophomore in high school, and I was just exhausted. I didn't get my period till I was 20 years old. My doctors back then, nobody was worried about it. And in college, I had stress fractures all the time. We were asked to do a research paper in college on something with nutrition. And I was flipping through my book and I came across the word amenorrhea. That is me. No period. I had never had a natural period on my own. I was 20 years old in college running track. And I was reading about it. I'm like, I can't believe my doctors, my gynecologist kept saying, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The number one largest side effect of a girl not having their period is stress fractures. So I was kind of angry and disappointed. I'm 20 years old and nobody was worried about me not having my period. So they finally gave me a shot of I don't know what hormone. They gave me a shot and I got my period for 30 days. So that was payback, I guess. Then they put me on birth control pill. And so then things were pretty normal. And I was kind of worried, about possibility of being able to get pregnant because of my issues. But honestly, after I came off the pill, I did not have problems getting pregnant. Thankful on that. So that was a puberty problem, right? So things seem to be fairly normal, but I've always been on a birth control pill or an IUD. So that falsely regulates your system because it's not really you, it's the hormones. That's the whole other podcast. Perimenopause hit. So I'm 46. I had my tubes tied because I was like, I'm done having kids. So I want to be natural, see what my body wants to do. And a few years after that, when I hit 46, periods were coming every 3 weeks. They were super duper heavy. It was extreme bloating. My breasts hurt for 2 weeks a month, exhausted when I'd come home. I mean, I was putting in 20, 30,000 steps a day because I was coaching cross country. So I was running myself rampant. I was exhausted, trying to coach, trying to teach, still had kids in school. My body was changing. I did not recognize what was happening for probably a year and a half. And I was like, I honestly don't remember when, but I started thinking, I'm starting perimenopause. I'm not that old. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not in my 50s. And here I am, a health coach, run coach, health person for years. And I, like a lot of other women, don't think that these things start to happen until you're in your 50s. And then I learned perimenopause symptoms can start as early as 35. Everything I read was what used to work stops working. And what used to work for me was sleeping your dead because I don't want to miss anything because I'm outgoing and I'm fun. And my exercise was number one. Nutrition was a lot of stress. The only thing I was killing it was exercise still. And now if I were to put things in a pyramid of what's the most important during perimenopause, the most important thing is sleep. And that was the worst thing I was doing. The next important thing is stress management. That was the worst thing I was doing. Then you got the nutrition, which was not great. And then the exercise. So I was doing everything exactly backwards. So in the complete opposite reverse order of what I needed to be doing. Since I already was in the business of coaching women, and I knew this would be a huge thing because women should know about this before it happens to them so they can start making adjustments now. And I didn't get the opportunity to do that. So now I'm reaching out and trying to teach women, here's what you can do to help yourself. Right. So that's where I decided to get a part of my nutrition training was a stress and hormone specialist.
And again, you've done an awesome job of helping break that down into something simple and manageable by saying, hey, the first thing, if you're going to take small steps on your health journey, start to first look at your sleep patterns, because then when you sleep better and you feel better, then you have more energy. The next step is stress. So stress management, which can be a multitude of things. And some people manage their stress through sleep, but also I think there's a mental component and an emotional component of being able to say no and prioritize yourself. And that helps with the stress management. And then you can have more time and energy to devote into thinking about nutrition, bringing in exercise and how that all kind of pulls together. So I think all of that was really helpful to break that down. And we could talk about hormones for days. You have had your hormones tested. You are working with people that can help figure out what you need for supplements and how to do that. So, I mean, that's big. Where does someone start if they're having the symptoms that you talked about? I think a lot of my listeners are probably perimenopausal. So they might be starting to realize that it's not abnormal to start experiencing these symptoms as early as 35, which seems incredible, but even 40. And that process, I think from what I've read, can happen over a 10-year period.
I feel like my cellular level, my mitochondria inside the cells are still recovering from what I did in my 40s with all the sleep and the stress. And so it's frustrating because I want it to fix itself overnight. You know, it's just like fitness and losing weight. It's a journey. It's not something that's going to fix itself overnight. You have to be patient. After I did all the research on the lifestyle, so I started with the lifestyle changes first. I wanted to try to fix some things because things don't happen in a vacuum. And that's what frustrates me now is that people will just go get shots of testosterone, things like that, but not make any changes to their lifestyle. You're wasting your money. Hormones aren't going to fix the problem. They're going to cover it up for a little bit. It should be a marriage together. It shouldn't be one without the other. Yeah. So I want women to know that. But to start with those lifestyle changes, that would be number one. Get your sleep under control. get help with your stress management if you're not there. Then after you've started to make those changes, I wanted to know, okay, for 6 months, I've been doing these changes. Now, how do I know what my hormones are doing? So I started with the cheaper test. I did research online to find like the most reliable test to start with. And I went with Everlywell. They have a women's health test, did the research on it. And I liked how they gave you a comprehensive email back on all the results. And that's just one test. And I was a little leery because I'm like, okay, how accurate is this for me? The test has you test your blood at 2 different times of the month because our hormones do fluctuate. That's what my first doctor said, like, well, your hormones change all the time, so we're not going to do a test. Well, okay, but we got to get an idea where I'm at somewhere. And so this test gave you, at the beginning of your cycle and in the middle of your cycle and the end of the cycle. So it kind of gave a snapshot. And then you get this email back. It gave me all these things and showed some things to me that I was like, okay, so this is where I'm at. So instead of guessing where I was at, you know where you're at. So that I love. So I wasn't 100% trustworthy of it yet. I'm a skeptic. And so I did the research on like, okay, if I have low testosterone, what can I do naturally to increase my testosterone? If I have low progesterone, what can I do to help support my hormone system with that? So I started to implement those things that I could control myself by my choices. And then after time spent doing those things, then I was like, okay, now I'm going to a functional doctor. And so I found them, went to them, did the blood test through them, and I was happy. I mean, not really happy. I'd rather not be there at all. But I was happy to know that those results that they gave me matched the same results that I got from Everlywell. I felt like I could guide my clients to starting with that at-home test to give them an idea of where to start, where they may need some support in their lifestyle changes first before they go spend the money. Because it is a little bit of an investment at first to go to a functional doctor. But once I got to them, then she was able to direct me to things I couldn't help myself with because my testosterone level was at a 7. And
what should it be at?
80 at the least.
Wow.
And so so that was started my hormone replacement therapy. So a study that came out a long time ago that was falsely set up to scare women from doing hormone therapy. And if after consulting your doctor, the risk is no more than it is without hormone therapy for heart disease, stroke, things like that. Now, if there's
breast
some reason
cancer, I think a lot of people get worried about that. Like, oh, if I'm going to take estrogen, I'm going to get breast cancer. And that's not necessarily true.
Not necessarily true. I mean, it's definitely something you want to talk to your doctor. If you have some sort of special thing in your family, then maybe it's not right for you. But there's no reason as women that we can't feel better. And I can tell you between that testosterone pellet and the progesterone that also I was low on, it just made a huge difference in my energy. And that's what I liked about this. Instead of just going to a clinic where they're just going to randomly give you shots of testosterone and not really know where you're at, is that she started low. Every 3 months we get together and talk, and it's a very comprehensive approach in my life, not just about covering up what's the symptoms, but my lifestyle and thing I'm doing like that. So it took a year for my testosterone to get up, and I just feel 100% better. It's like, if you can help yourself feel better and it's safe, then do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're able to coach people one-on-one, but you're also working in group settings as well. You're helping with the lifestyle changes first. And maybe people who already have the lifestyle piece down and they're like, but I'm still really struggling with my hormones, or I'm starting to go into this phase of life. They can consult with you. You have a discount code through Everlywell that you can provide. So we can put that in the show notes as well if people are interested in that. And then, of course, how to get a hold of you to maybe have more of a one-on-one consultation and what to do with this information. At our age also, we still have a combination of women who are using IUDs who are still on birth control. So it may not be a good fit for them to have their hormones tested until they're completely done with all of that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do at that point if you're still on birth control IUD, because you really don't know what your body is doing.
All the more reason for people to connect with you, ask their questions, see what they need to be doing or can do to just help them. Because maybe if they're still using an IUD or birth control in some capacity, maybe it is going back and looking at how can we do other things to help you feel better. You have brought us so much amazing information, just that I feel like this has been super helpful and will be super helpful to so many women out there. Well, you have an event coming up, I think tomorrow, so that's not going to be super helpful for this recording, but you do have things that you're partnering with people on and doing different programming around Central Iowa.
My goal is to every month have an event where we bring bring women together. I have a online course that's going to be starting here that just takes people through. It's 6 weeks long, which seems like the perfect time because it takes us through the just different pillars of health and hormone balancing each week at a time. And it's kind of a hybrid course where they get the release of the module for the week. And then we follow up in the middle of that week in a live video. So we are able to talk, ask questions, things like that. Then the next week comes out because we just focus on one thing a week, focus on this week, and then this. And so by the time the 6 weeks over, they've been able to get a look at everything that has to happen over time. And then from that, I meet with each person individually and come up with the action plan moving forward.
Nice.
It personalizes it at the end. So that's coming up, my Hormone Harmony course. Besides that Hormone Harmony course, I do have a freebie that I was going to throw in that they can actually log in. It's called Thrive in Perimenopause, the Complete Hormone Balancing Starter Kit. So I can give you that to link in there too. And that kind of takes everything we talked about, gets people on the right path to start with that.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely include that. Thank you for normalizing things, at least for me. Probably having my period into having babies. I think sometimes we just think, oh, this is normal, and we never talk about it. And I think the tide is shifting or has shifted in the last maybe decade where women are talking about it and what is quote unquote normal or typical and what is not, and when to seek help and support.
Is just because it's normal doesn't mean you need to suffer. There's things you can do. We don't have to suffer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we wrap up, Traci, I just want to thank you again so much for just all the work that you've done over the years to help other women. Ultimately, you're really helping inspire and motivate so many people with the work that you've done on yourself, but also bringing that message out and helping us as we navigate these various times in our life. And I'll put all the information in the show notes. I'm just really excited to see your business continue to grow and thrive for you, but also for all the women nationwide. It's not even just Central Iowa. I mean, this is all online and people can get a hold of you wherever they're at.
I was going to extend an invite over to my show so we can talk about your perimenopause.
I would love to come on your show, and we could probably talk for days and just go back and forth on each other's shows.
Yeah, there we go. We'll just have the Traci and Sarah shows.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Traci. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Thank you for joining us today for this powerful conversation with Traci from Train with Fire. I hope you found inspiration and practical insights to ignite your own journey toward health and fitness, especially if you're navigating the unique challenges of perimenopause. This stage of life is an opportunity to embrace your strength and redefine what wellness means for you. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd be so grateful if you would take a moment to rate the show, share it with a friend, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more women and continue bringing empowering conversations like this one. Together, we are building a community that uplifts and inspires. Until next time, stay wise, stay well, and keep the fire burning within you.